Hello. Recently, I was having a chat with my daughter. In fact, she was asking a few questions. As we were driving, she saw a board that said funeral director for funeral services or something like that. And she asked, I wonder how it would be to work in a funeral home or to work as a funeral director. They would be knowing so much about life and what death is. They would be seeing death pretty much on a daily basis. So I wonder what their philosophy and what their psychology about life would be. And then I got thinking about this, and we were discussing different professions. And I was saying, that it's a job. It's just what they do. We all do things for survival. Plus, we do things that gives us a sense of satisfaction. It gives us a sense of fulfillment in what we do. A vocation is just something that we do, whether it's for a living or whether that's something that resonates with us. So it's just, and we call it a profession. And I was saying, okay, there are so many other jobs which we haven't even thought about. Jobs that it doesn't even cross our mind. What if we were to do that kind of a job? When I was working with Yellow Pages in New Zealand, one of my clients was actually a drain unblocker. And I remember asking him, okay, so that must be a pretty tough job. But can you tell me some of the worst jobs that you've done? And he said, you can't even comprehend, you can't even imagine the kind of things that I've done. Some of the drain unblocking that I've done is the height of messiness that anyone can imagine. So I didn't go into the detail, nor did he, but you get the picture. And then, that very evening, my wife and I were watching something on Netflix, and we stumbled upon Tony Robbins' documentary. I think it's called I'm Not a Guru or something. We just happened to see a part of it, a snippet, and in that he was having a discussion. He was actually doing a coaching session with a mother and a daughter. And he was using a lot of language, as in a lot of profanities. And in fact, he used words like whore. He used words like bitch, and many other words. And I was thinking what these words actually mean. And then coming back to my daughter's question about profession, I was thinking about the profession of prostitution. Now, Tony Robbins, as much as an accomplished coach, leadership coach, personal coach he is, calling someone a whore is actually saying that the profession of prostitution is something very demeaning, is outright wrong. And it actually shook me internally, and I was thinking about people, about women especially, working in the sex industry, whether they're prostitutes, whether they work in the porn industry. So all that is a job. It is a job. And there's nothing wrong in what they do. I don't see anything wrong in what they do. It's the choice they have made based on the circumstances they've gone through, that these women have chosen this profession. Do you think a highly enlightened sage or an enlightened being, whether it's people who've brought about religion into this world, would they separate thieves and prostitutes separately? Not at all. They would look everyone just as a human being, as an individual. But then why do we create so much of separation and say that is wrong, that is not a noble profession at all? It's one of the oldest professions the world has ever known. And it is very sad for people to use words like this in a derogatory manner. It's like calling someone, oh, you doctor, you engineer, you lawyer. And we don't see that as anything wrong. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but I just thought I should log it as a journal and do a video log and make us just think about the different professions people take up. In fact, my heart goes out to these people. It's absolutely amazing what men and women, men as well, go through and sell their body and do the things to please others. And it is just a service that they provide. Even people who work in the garbage industry, in the recycling industry as it's called. Just when I do part-time Uber driving, maybe about 5 to 10 hours a week. And it's just a taxi driver's job. And it is so elevating to me personally, internally, when I actually do this Uber driving. Money is a secondary aspect. But more than anything else, I get to learn about myself, how I respond to situations, how I get to have new conversations, how I get to go to new places, how I get to meet new people, strangers, and have conversations with them, how I react when people sit at the back seat and I have a conversation with them, versus how someone sits on the passenger seat next to me and we have a conversation, and the kind of thinking that happens, that goes within my head. And it's a great teacher. Just me doing Uber has taught me so much about myself. And I would urge, encourage, recommend, suggest everyone to do it. And it's one of the best part-time jobs anyone can think of. You pick your own hours. I'm almost like marketing Uber now. So yeah, Uber, so there are different professions people do to connect with their inner self. There's nothing wrong in any profession. That's what I'm saying. We all do things to make a living, for survival, to pay the bills. And we do these things as a vocation. That's something that we like doing. That's something that we've specialized in because of our interest in it. And we call it a profession. And it's not something that we do without any kind of fondness for what we do. But if we did that, if we didn't like what we're doing, I don't think we should be doing it at all. And it's really not about what you do. It's not about the actual job, but it's about how you do. It's about how much commitment and dedication there is in the work that we do, regardless of the title we hold in our job. Robin Sharma says leadership is a behavior. It's got nothing to do with the title. Leadership is more a behavior and a mental attitude. So any kind of profession we have, it's about putting in 100%, not being too casual. And yeah, if you don't like doing something, don't do it. Stop. Look at something else. Oh, but this is a profession, this is what I've studied, this is what I've learned all my life, I can't do anything else. Yeah, we put restrictions on ourselves based on what will make us more money, something that we've studied and mastered, and that's all we have to do. Not at all. The world's an oyster. There's so many things to do. We don't have to stick to anything. Everything is constantly changing. Constant change is nothing but constant creativity. Everything is constantly changing. Why do we have to stick to one profession? I'm not saying that sticking to one profession is wrong. Not at all. All I'm saying is we have a choice. We all have a choice. It's not just because this is what I've studied and learned and all I can do is just this. No, but we can upskill. We can learn other things and develop ourselves in other areas or other aspects of any profession. Just something else I just remembered, which was, the only difference between vocation and vacation is one letter. It's a very small difference. A vocation should as much be like a vacation, and it is not about separating, okay, I need to go on holiday or on a vacation and leave this job. I don't know, I mean, even the job should be considered, at least in our minds, as something that which is just part of life. It is just something that happens during the day. It's not something that we go doing, oh, but I don't want to do this job, and we look at this whole job as a burden. This whole thing, it just flows. You get up in the morning, do your things, and after that, work just happens to be as part of everything that we do each day. We see work as, okay, once I go to work, I've got to be very professional and do my job with the best of my abilities. But that's how we should be living our entire life, entire day, not just while we are professionally engaged in work. I was recently having a chat with one of my colleagues, and I was saying the way we do the little things largely determines how we do the bigger things. The way we respond to the smaller things determines how we would respond to the bigger things. So basically what I'm saying is there is nothing called small and big. Everything is just one seamless activity. And this is probably what yoga is all about. It's just doing anything or everything with purpose and intention. All right. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Dislike the video if you don't like it. Like it if you do. And please feel free to share the video and post comments. Thanks.